This is the Geometry Basic practice test for the unit on area. Alright, so the practice test was actually on quizzes, but I thought some people might need a walkthrough for some of the problems, so I'm going to run through the answers to the problems on the practice test. Question number 1 says to find the area. This shape is a parallelogram. So the formula for area of a parallelogram is just base times height. In this case, it's 20 and 21.5. We know these are our base and height because they make a right angle. So just 20 times 21.5, and we get letter A, 430 square inches. By the way, it may be useful to make sure you have your formulas handy. You can use your note packet, or you can make a formula sheet to help you get through this, this practice test and test. Problem number 2, this is about the area of a triangle. So we're trying to find the area of the triangle. The formula for area of a triangle is 1/2 times base times height. So it's 1/2 times 7 times 5.4. We know that we're going to use those as our base and height because they're making a right angle with each other. We should end up getting 18.9 square kilometers. I know several people probably got 37.8 square kilometers. If you did that, you forgot about the 1/2 that's in our formula for area of a triangle, which is a really common mistake and one you want to try to make sure you don't duplicate on the test. Alright, page 2, yours is on the computer, so there weren't pages. But question number 3, find the area of the parallelogram. Again, formula for area of a parallelogram is just base times height. In this case, 6 times 4, and we get 24 square centimeters. Problem number 4 was one of the harder problems. This is a cutout problem where we have the area of a big shape and a hole in it. So we're going to find the area of the whole big rectangle, which is just base times height, 12 times 10, we get 120. And we're going to subtract the area of the little rectangle, 7 times 2, which is 14. So 120 minus 14, we get 106. For problem number 5, finding the area of this irregular shape. You can do this a couple different ways, but you want to cut it up into shapes that you are familiar with. In this case, I drew the line straight down here. So on the left side, I got a big rectangle, 5 times 4, we get 20. On the right side, we get a small one. It's actually a square. 2 times 2, we get 4. And then just simply add those two together. We get 24 square centimeters. Problem number 6. All right, the area of this irregular shape. That might be too much at once. Okay, so we have to find the area of this rectangle. That part should be easy. That's just going to be 8 times 5, and we get 40 for this big rectangle on the bottom. We drew a line through here. Now we're going to find the area of this triangle on top. Its height is 5, but you don't know immediately that the base length here is 5. You have to realize that all the way across this rectangle, this distance is 8, and we're subtracting 2 here, so 8 minus 2, and subtract 1 here on this side, and we're just looking for this middle part. So it's 8 minus the 2 over here, and the 1 over here. This middle distance is going to be 5. So the area of the triangle there in the middle, 1/2 times 5 times 5, or 12.5. Then, now that we know the area of the triangle and the area of the rectangle, we can simply add those two together and get 52.5. The trapezoid, okay, this one's a little bit ugly. Find the area of a trapezoid. We do area is base plus base over 2 times height. Okay, so the base on top, this middle shape here, this picture's not very clear. I think some things didn't come through on the computer, that all these sides are supposed to be the same. So if this is 2.5, this is 2.5, so is this one and this one. So this base up here is 2.5, same as the bottom. The height is also 2.5, and we need the length of this base down here. Well, it's 1 plus 2.5 plus 1, that's 4.5. So our formula for calculating the area, we do 4.5, the bottom, plus 2.5 the top, and divide that by 2, and multiply the result by the height, which will give us 8.75 square miles. All right, problems 8 and 9. Problem number 8, find the area of a triangle. That one should be pretty easy. We just do 1/2 times base times height, which is 1/2 times 13, add these two together, times 6. I did have a student ask me about finding the area of this triangle and then finding the area of this triangle and adding them together. You should still get the same answer, 39 square feet. For number 9, the space inside an object. Space is kind of the wrong word, but we're talking about how big an object is, how much stuff is on the inside of it, and that's area. Yep. Zoom out, next page. All right, now I have some simple questions. I have a question kind of like this on your test, but it won't be exactly like this. But basically what you're trying to get here in problem number 10, area is how many little squares fit inside the object. For number 11, perimeter is the distance around the outside of the object, and to find the perimeter, you add the lengths of the sides. All right, then problem number 13. Okay, this one has a small trick to it. I'm not trying to get people to get this wrong, but there is something important here. When we find the area, we do 3 times 5, we get 15. So why is answer A right, 15 square centimeters, and answer B wrong, 15 centimeters? Because we're talking about area, which means how many little boxes are fitting inside this thing. So we have to be talking about square centimeters, not just regular centimeters. This answer could be like the answer for the perimeter, the distance around it. But when we talk about area, our units are squared. For problem number 14, just find the perimeter of this hexagon. It's 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 all the way around. We know they're all the same because they got the tick marks saying that they are. Add them all up, we should get 18 centimeters. Okay, for problem number 15, okay, this is a backwards problem. There's no picture given to you on this one. It says a rectangular pizza has a perimeter of 24 inches. So here's my rectangular pizza. The length is 8. So 8 here and then 8 across because it's a rectangle. These two should be the same. The other two sides we don't know and we want to find them. So to find the perimeter, you do this number plus this number plus this one equals 24, the perimeter that we're told. So we say 8 plus x plus 8 plus x is 24. Combine our like terms, 8 and 8 gives me 16. X and x gives us 2x. So 16 plus 2x is 24. Then simply subtract 16 from both sides and divide by 2. We'll get 4. For problem number 16, too much at once there. Hang on. There's some of this extra info. All right, for problem number 16, we have a rectangle. The area is 96. What's the width if the height is 8? So again, we get a picture like this. Its area is 96. So that just means 8 times x is 96. We want to know what x is. Divide by 8. We should get 12 feet. Now in this case, we're finding the length of a side. So it's just going to be 12 feet, not 12 square feet. So there's a chance if you got this one wrong, it's because of the units. For problem number 17, which formula is used to find the area of the triangle? Hopefully you know this. It's 1/2 base times height. If you don't, you make sure you have that on a formula sheet somewhere. All right, number 18, we're finding the area of this octagon. Our formula for the area of an octagon is 1/2 times apothem times perimeter. The apothem here is just given to us. It's 3 for the perimeter. 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 all the way around. It's 4 times 8 essentially, which is going to be 32. So it's half of 3 times 32, which gives you 48 square centimeters. Notice this one, letter D, this is incorrect. We have the units wrong on here. So it's letter B, not D. Where's number 19? Okay. And then for 19 and 20, these two questions ask for the formula for area of a rhombus, formula for area of a kite. They are the same thing. It's 1/2 times diagonal times diagonal. There are a few problems on the test that are that simple where it's just, can you identify the formula? But 1/2 times diagonal for both. And then these two questions, 21 and 22, finding the area of a kite, and then afterwards find the area of the rhombus. We're just going to do, in both cases, 1/2 times diagonal for both of them. You have to know that the length of the diagonals is full length. It's 9 plus 15 for this one. That's the 24. 7 plus 7 is 14 over here. So half of 14 times 24, we get 168. And the rhombus here on the end, this 10 is only a half diagonal. I'll make sure that the picture on the test is more clear in case you, if you got 20 by accident and couldn't find that answer. But it's 20 and 16. So it's 1/2 times 20 times 16, and we get 160. The last problem on the practice test was probably the hardest. You will have one problem like this on your test as well. We have a trapezoid. We know its area. We know the lengths of the bases. We want to know the height. So we start with our formula for area of a trapezoid. Area is base plus base over 2 times the height. So our two bases are 16 and 20. So 16 plus 20 over 2 times the height is equal to the area, which we're told in the problem is 90. So this whole part right here, you can just type that whole mess into your calculator if you type it carefully. It should simplify all the way down to 18. If you do it by parts, 16 plus 20 is 36. Divide by 2 and you get the 18. So 90 is equal to 18 times the height. We simply divide by 18 and get 5.